Lots of developments taking place as tension continues between India and Pakistan. The Prime Minister is holding a series of top-level meetings, as well as the situation in Jammu and Kashmir, where there has been ceasefire violations for a sixth day. There's been firing from Pakistan's side, and this time the international border also being targeted. We'll be going across to Nazir Masoodi, who joins us from Srinagar, and Aishwarya joining us from outside the Prime Minister's residence. Nazir, first to you, if you could tell us about, we'll come to Aishwarya about the meetings, but if you could tell us about, the developments in the last couple of days and this targeting of the international border, how from the Pakistan side, Indian troops are being kept engaged.
Yeah, ceasefire violations are not new in Jammu and Kashmir, particularly the line of control, but clearly they have been consistently violated by Pakistan after Pahalgam attack, which tells a story, the design of the incident when India has said there would be a decisive action against those who have committed this heinous crime and those who have facilitated and backed them. We have seen it started from the line of control, now it is in the international border as well. And it is always the common people who are always on the edge who bear the brunt of these violations. Ceasefire was renewed between India and Pakistan armies in February 2021. So both sides agreed. Largely, ceasefire was holding on despite several provocation. But over the last 1 week, we have seen ceasefire happening for last 6 days, 6 nights consecutively. So there is no report of damage. But we are hearing from Pakistani handles that they are feeling heat in Sialkot. It appears that Indian response was really very severe when it comes. Though what we hear that only small arms have been used in the ceasefire violation. There are no reports of using artillery in the ceasefire violation. In the past, we have seen even artillery being used during the ceasefire violation. But given the context, given the background, all this is happening. Clearly, it is escalation on the border when we know Pakistan Information Minister talking about that they have credible intelligence. India will be taking a military action against Pakistan within next 36 hours. So he's been talking about, that Pakistan has not done it. Pakistan wants a neutral probe, etc. Then saying they will respond. Having said that, things are really very shaky. There's no visible, demonstrative, troop mobilization in the borders, whether it is in the line of control or international border in Jammu. But clearly, army is always prepared for any eventuality which they have shown in 2016 and 2019.
All right, Nazir, we're also joined by Sunil Prabhu from the South Block. But first, across to Aishwarya, a series of meetings today. Aishwarya, the Prime Minister, holding two powerful decision-making committees meeting to, decide on India's response after the Pahalgam massacre in which 26 civilians were killed. There's been rising tension as well. Tell us what's happening right now.
Well, the latest what we can update to our viewers from 7 Lok Kalyan Marg, which is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's residence, is that all the 4 key crucial meetings that was chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, be it of the CCS, CCPA, CCEA or the full-fledged cabinet, has now ended. But it is Home Minister Amit Shah and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh who is still at the 7 Lok Kalyan Marg at Prime Minister's residence, and a separate meeting is underway between the PM, HM and the Defence Minister. It is, of course, crucial decisions that are something which are expected from this from these 4 meetings, which was chaired by Prime Minister. The briefing is expected at around 3 p.m. By a senior colleague of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's cabinet. But if I can tell my camera person to quickly show the visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's residence right outside here, continuously the convoys of senior ministers had been leaving. It is just not, as I mentioned, the CCS, but also the CCPA, which is often dubbed as Super Cabinet, and it was also chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Strategically important because CCE EA and CCS meetings had come after the wake of Pahalgam terror attack. Remember, after the CCS that was held when Prime Minister Narendra Modi came back from Saudi Arabia, it was the Ministry of External Affairs which was given a responsibility. Vikram Misri did that press conference and announced about the important decisions that India made to communicate to the country. But today, whether it will be some senior colleague from the Modi cabinet or it will be Ashwini Vaishnav, as usually we have seen briefing the media about the decisions being taken by the government, that will happen at 3 p.m. But certainly all eyes would be will continue to be at the 7 Lok Kalyan Marg, because it is Home Minister, Defence Minister who is still inside Prime Minister's residence.
All right, so those key meetings are taking place over there at the Prime Minister's residence. Before we come to you, Sunil, back to Nazir. And Nazir, what is the situation in Jammu and Kashmir right now? We do know the NIA was there in Pahalgam and they, conducting their probe operations on the terror attack. There are also operations to catch the terrorists involved. So what is the situation like on the ground there?
Well, it's an ongoing investigation. NIA has formally taken up the investigation. Yesterday, I saw in Pahalgam that the Poniwalas and all those eyewitnesses were there at the time of attack, were called for at a police station where NIA set up this center at Pahalgam, and they were, questioning them and trying to know things what exactly has happened. So many people are there, and we have seen people are voluntarily saying that, look, we'll cooperate in investigation. Whatever we know, whatever we can know, we'll communicate and share it with the police or the NIA. A top-level officer, an IG rank officer of the NIA is actually heading this investigation, because this is an investigation which is so important for the NIA itself, for the country, and for the security of the Jammu and Kashmir. Because most of the attacks which have happened in the past, NIA has cracked those cases, regardless of whether those militants behind them have been killed during encounters or not. But NIA has cracked those cases, and more or less all the conspiracies were exposed as well. For example, whether it was a Dangri attack in Rajouri on January 1st, 2023, or there was an attack on the Mata Vaishno Devi Yatris, all these cases, or last year's attack on the Yatris in Shivkhori, Riyasi in Jammu, all these cases have been investigated by the NIA. So NIA has an institutional memory. All the records who all have been part of those conspiracies and attacks. And in this attack, police have already released the sketches of those attackers. And now they know the names. 2 of them are Pakistani. One is said to be an SSG, which is the commando wing of the Pakistani army, militant. So he too has been part of it. His name was figured earlier in several incidents and attacks in Jammu and Kashmir. While the attackers are known, but NIA is clearly talking about the larger conspiracy and how it has happened, and clearly how such things can be helpful, investigating can be helpful to prevent future incidents. But right now, besides this investigation, a major operation is underway in Pahalgam operation for Pahalgam forest for last 8 days to track down the attackers. But so far, not much success has been achieved in terms of tracking them down and eliminating those. But still at large there. And remember, it's not just delivering justice to the innocent people who are killed, but also keeping Pahalgam safe, which is also base camp for the Amarnath Yatra, and Yatra is just less than 2 months away.
That's right. Let's go across to Sunil, who joins us from South Block. And Sunil, Nazir was talking about, the panic in Pakistan. You have Minister, talking about how this attack from India is imminent, or some sort of action from India is imminent. The Prime Minister of Pakistan putting out this long post where he's talking about, the UN and having some probe into this attack. But India too, so an attempt there to internationalize this issue. But India too has, put out this information about Pakistan's long history. It's no secret of backing terror groups, something admitted by their defense minister, in fact, just recently in an interview, and detailing this, how India has been a victim really of Pakistan's propagating of extremism for decades now.
That's right. This Pak-sponsored terrorism, and it's in that backdrop that they have shown consistently that one way or the other, Pakistan, be it the 2008 Kabul bombing or for that matter, the 26/11, where Nawaz Sharif himself has admitted later on that their people were responsible, General Musharraf, for the violence that is taking place in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and supporting militants. And the list continues about from Iran to Bangladesh, and how Pakistan has been sponsoring terrorism not only in India and confine itself to just a bilateral, but also to Iran, to Bangladesh, to various other countries, including the United States, where they have been behind the responsibility for the embassy attack in Kabul in Afghanistan. So it's in that backdrop now that India, through its foreign affairs minister as well as its foreign secretary and through its diplomats and ambassadors across various countries, have been reaching out to their counterparts to tell them that this is the track record, while Pakistan tries to internationalize, as you rightly point out, this entire situation. But definitely we are two nuclear countries, and it's in that context that everybody will be watching with a lot of caution on how things evolve in the next few days, because what has been decided by the Prime Minister, which has been widely reported after his meeting with the cabinet defense minister, as well as the national security advisor and the armed forces and the chief of defense staff, that on a need-to-know basis they have been given the go-ahead to avenge what has been the worst civilian and terror attack on India after 26/11.